Hello everyone and welcome back to DaVinci Guitar. I'm Abigail, this is Jim, and we're so excited to have you all with us to talk about the major 6 chords and their corresponding inversions. Last time we talked about the major 7 chord. We talked about the idea of an embellishment chord, which means that you add a tension or an extension, as you might hear it called, to the chord. So for example, in the key of A, we know that we have an A, a C sharp, and an E, right? That's our major chord, the root, the third, and the fifth. To add an extension or a tension to the chord, you take another note that isn't the root, the third, and the fifth, and you add it to the chord. For example, with the major 7 chord, we know that we added that 7th note out of the scale. In the key of A, we added a G sharp, because that's the 7th note out of an A major scale. Now, when we want to work with the major 6 chord, it means that we have to take the 6th note out of the major scale, which is an F sharp when you account for the circle of fifths in the key of A. And so when we think about the major 6 chord, that's how we have to understand it. It's a root, a third, a fifth, and a 6th. So it's an A, a C sharp, an E, and an F sharp. Now that we have that theoretical basis, let's move into looking at how we can play it in the 2 roots and the 2 inversion forms. So to start out, down here, again, this is our first root that leads to 3rd inversion. We know that this was the major, right? We walk down, Jim will probably demonstrate later, and we know that this is our major 6 chord, simply barring right there. And you have an A, a C sharp, and an E, and an F sharp, which means that it's a major 6 chord because you have a 4th note now added beyond just the original 3 notes you had. Now, let's move ahead on up to our 2nd root form on this root note, A. And this is the form we're going to use right here. You hear that major 6 sound being that F sharp. Perfect. Now let's move on up to the C sharp, which is the 3rd note out of the scale. And when we make it 1st inversion, we know that we just take the 3rd note out of the scale and transform that into our new root. So let's go ahead on up to the C sharp. And what we're going to do here is simply play an A, a C sharp, an E, and an F sharp using this form. Now, let's go ahead on up to the E. We know that the E is the 5th note out of an A major scale, and it's going to be 2nd inversion. We're going to be working with the 2nd inversion chord because we're going to take the E and make that the new root. So we're just going to play like this. There you have it. And that's an A major 6 chord in 2nd inversion because we transformed the root. So now you know how to play a major 6 chord in the 2 root forms and the 2 inversion forms. You can apply this to any key whatsoever and have a major 6 chord really in any chord and any inversion that you want. And now I'm going to turn it over to Jim, who's going to continue with a helpful demonstration.
Thanks, Abigail. So today we're going to learn the major 6 chord in the 2 roots, 1st inversion and 2nd inversion. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you from the A once again. Okay, here's our A in 1st. Now our 6th is going to look like this. So this is an A major 6 in root form. We're going to go to our 2nd chord, and this is another root. And what we're going to do is we're going to play the major 6, and we're going to come to this form. Now we're going to go to the 1st inversion. We're going to play this, and then we're going to play the 6th. That's a little bit of a, little turn, but we'll get it. And then our 2nd inversion is up here on the E, and all we're going to do is bar the 1st. So here's a little practice that we're going to do from A major to A major 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the 6th chord.
Well, perfect. Thank you, Jim. That was super helpful. Great way to practice those major 6 chords and learn that moving line. We hope this was a helpful lesson for you all in learning the major 6 chords in the inversions. Stay tuned for more of this. We'll be back next week. Thanks for watching DaVinci Guitar.